Hello everyone, FPL Raptor here and welcome to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. We are the leading brand if you're looking to build up your team value, win those essential mini leagues and improve your overall rank. In these daily videos, we bring you the latest news with respect to potential price rises and potential price falls. So if you are looking to build up your team value or you just don't want to be priced out of potential moves, look no further than this series and this YouTube channel. Just a quick reminder that at the weekend, there is a lot of transfer activity happening. So the best way to stay up to date with the latest price changes is after watching this video, go check the price changes for yourself by heading over to fantasyfootballfix.com or by downloading our free app and enabling push notifications. But without further ado, let's get to today's video. So guys, let's jump straight into it. There are 5 players predicted to rise in price tonight, and there are also 5 players predicted to fall in price tonight. We'll start actually with the fallers because there aren't really any players of note in my opinion, apart from maybe one, which is Mason Mount. Now, Mason Mount was very close to falling previously, but then a few managers started to bring Mason Mount in, so he didn't quite get his price fall. And now, because obviously he didn't feature in Game Week 8, and it looks like Chelsea might potentially sometimes, or for the foreseeable future, favour a 3-5-2 with Lukaku and Werner up front, I think a few managers are now shipping Mount back out again. So Mount at the time of recording is at 98.6% and he is falling at 0.2% per hour. So he's not falling very quickly and he's not at minus 100% yet. So he might get away without a price fall. And once again, if he does anything in the Champions League midweek, etc., he might not ever get that price fall at all. But it's just worth noting, if you were looking to bring in Mount this week, which I potentially am because of the Norwich fixture, I would definitely wait just in case he gets that price fall. And if you're looking to sell him, which I probably wouldn't with the fixtures they've got coming up, then I would, if you are looking to, you might want to sell him now because he looks like he's on that boundary. As you can see, the 5 players that I've put on screen are the 5 that look like they are going to rise in price tonight, or at the time of recording are at least predicted to rise in price. The main one who is rising at quite some rate and is already over 100% is the man on the thumbnail, and that is Jamie Vardy. He's at 108.0% at the time of recording, and he's rising at 5.2% per hour. So we can say with relative confidence, as long as he keeps getting transferred in at roughly that rate, he should rise in price tonight. The other player is also a premium, which is Mohamed Salah. If you don't own Salah, what are you doing? But only 63.7% at the time of recording own Salah. So there are some people out there that don't own him. I think it might be overthinking it if you're looking to go without Salah for the foreseeable future. He just looks like, I tweeted it a couple of days ago, he does look like the best player in world football at the moment alongside Karim Benzema. So I would personally, if you haven't already brought him in, then bring him in tonight, absolutely. But definitely worth looking at. He's at 101.7% at that time of recording, and he's rising at 2.2% per hour as well. So he looks like he should be well and truly above 100 by the time this evening swings around. The other 3 players, as you can see on their screen, they are still predicted to rise in price tonight, but they aren't at 100% at the time of recording. The first is Bernardo Silva, who looks like he might rise from 6.9 million back up to 7 million, which is, of course, the price he started at. I still think that whilst he looks pretty much like the best player in that Manchester City team at the moment, I'm still not convinced that he's an FPL asset. I know he scored against Burnley, but I think he's more likely to assist the assister moving forward. So I'm not necessarily sure I would be going for him, but he does look fantastic, and he's at 97.7% at the time of recording, rising at 1.3% per hour. So he's not rising that quickly, so there's a potential Bernardo Silva doesn't go up tonight, but if you are looking to bring him in, you might want to take the plunge now. The other 2, first one is Townsend, who is looking like he's going to get his second rise up to 5.7 million. He, again, isn't rising that quickly, and he's at 94.1. So along with Bernardo Silva, I would suggest that Townsend later tonight, you should double check for yourselves, but I'd suggest Townsend might not rise tonight based on the fact that he's not got many managers bringing him in per hour and he's not quite at 100% at the time of recording. And the 5th and final one is Ben Chilwell, who got another goal, 2 goals in 2 game weeks. He looks like he's got his place back at left back ahead of Alonso, or at least over the last 2 weeks he has. It would definitely be worth keeping an eye out for the UCL. But at the time of recording, he is being brought in by quite a few managers per hour. He's rising at 3.3% per hour, and he's at 87.5% at the time of recording. He looks like he could be a bargain at 5.6 million, 15 points in Game Week 8, which means you were massively rewarded if you went for Chilwell over the likes of Rudiger, Azpilicueta, especially even Reece James as well. So those are the 5 players predicted to rise in price. As I said, the 5 that are actually predicted to fall in price are Trincao, Mount, Eric Dyer, Craig Dawson, and Holding. So none of those are particularly interesting. Rudiger, Pogba, there are some players that look like they could be falling, but they look like they're more likely to fall tomorrow night. So definitely worth checking tonight, because anything can happen in the evenings and these players could shoot back up. But at the time of recording, the only real notable faller would probably be Mason Mount. Hopefully that's helpful. We're now going to do two things. We're going to take a quick look at a comparison between Ben Chilwell and Reece James, because I know a lot of people will be looking to bring in a Chelsea fullback, and we're going to decide which is the best out of the two. And we're also going to take a quick look at Jamie Vardy's stats and decide, is he a player we should be looking at? Have we missed the boat, or should we be bringing in Jamie Vardy in the coming weeks? Let's do it. So guys, as I said, the first thing I wanted to do is compare Reece James and Ben Chilwell, or Ben Chilwell on the left, Reece James on the right. Now, the reason I want to do this is Chelsea are facing Norwich next, and they're very, very similarly priced, and they both have pros and they both have cons. And I know a lot of people who have played their wildcard this week and already made their choice, but if you didn't already make this choice and you're looking to bring in one this week, hopefully I can help you understand the difference between the two. The first thing to note, which won't be picked up in the stats right now, and it's one of the main reasons that you would favour Chilwell over Reece James, is that Chilwell doesn't come off the bench for cameos, whereas Reece James often does. The reason for this is Alonso is more so trusted to play 90 minutes in a game. If Chelsea are well and truly on top, Alonso doesn't need to come off. And if Chelsea are struggling, it doesn't normally make much sense to bring on Ben Chilwell for Alonso, because Alonso is the more attacking fullback. And also, Alonso is fit enough to run up and down for 90 minutes. So Ben Chilwell very rarely comes on for Alonso. He has done a few times in the Champions League, but very rarely, if not at all, in the Premier League. Alternatively, when Reece James doesn't start, it's normally Azpilicueta at right wing back. Azpilicueta is not a right wing back. He is aging, most certainly, and he's normally a right centre back or right back. So he doesn't normally have the legs to run up and down repeatedly, which means that often if they're struggling, Reece James will be coming on for some fresh legs, either to help them defend or to help them attack. So Reece James, I think last season, I think it was 8 cameo appearances he made, whereas Chilwell made, I think, 1 in the league, but it wasn't even when Tuchel was on the manager. It was when Frank Lampard was the manager. So essentially, a main reason that you would go for Chilwell over Reece James is you're unlikely to get those 1-pointers, and you're more likely to get whoever you've got off your bench. So this week, if you had Chilwell and he didn't feature at all, you would have got Livramento, whereas Reece James, we saw, made that 1 minute or 1 or 2 minute cameo at the end of the game. If we take a look at their touch maps, as you can see on the screen, I think there is definitely a clear trend and a clear difference between the two, which will also come up in the stats that we're going to look at in a second. Ben Chilwell is what I would call, he is a wide fullback most certainly, but he makes inverted runs. So if you're not a football fanatic and you just play FPL, inverted runs are, rather than overlapping runs, they sort of come inside. We see that Cancelo and Trent do this a lot at right back. You can see from Ben Chilwell's touch map, he is getting down wide on the wing, but he's also got quite a few touches in the box, and also centrally sort of moves inside a little bit. Reece James, on the other hand, really hugs the right wing. He plays as a classic out-and-out right wing back. So what you would expect, therefore, is that Ben Chilwell will get into more shooting positions and Reece James will get into more crossing positions. And if we just scroll down, if you just scroll down once you're on the player heat map thing, you might not be able to see this if you're on your phone, but hopefully what you will be able to see is the clear colours, right? Blue means the better of the two statistics. So for Ben Chilwell, all of the ones on the left are better. And then you can see at the bottom, Reece James is better for that chunk. Now, if you can't see on your screen, what this is, the first 5 are all shooting and goal threat statistics, and the bottom 5 are all creativity statistics, looking at assists. So as you can see, Ben Chilwell ranks better than Reece James for all 5 of the goal threat or goal scoring statistics, and Reece James ranks better than Ben Chilwell for all 5 of the goal assist and creativity statistics. What this essentially means is that Ben Chilwell is the greater goal threat and Reece James has a greater assist threat. So we really do want our defenders to be scoring. They get more points for goals, significantly more points for goals, and they're better for bonus points. So this would make me lean towards Ben Chilwell, along with the fact that he doesn't come on for those 1-point cameos as often. That would also make me lean towards Ben Chilwell. What I would say is that if you take the stats in combination, you take a look at assist and goal threat in combination, Reece James does come out on top because his assist threat is so superior and he does get relatively close for goal threat. So if you look at everything together, I actually think it is very, very close. And I chose Reece James on my wild card, and obviously I didn't get that 15 points, so I got 1 point from Reece James, so I'm 14 points down already. The main reason for that is I just think that Ben Chilwell has greater rotation risk at left back, just due to how good Marcus Alonso is, whereas at right wing back, you have to play Azpilicueta or Hudson-Odoi out of position at right wing back to fill in for James. There is no other real out-and-out right back at the club. So I think that James long-term is still potentially the better pick, but he will make more cameos. And at the moment, Ben Chilwell does look like the greater goal threat. If we just take a quick look at their shot maps as well, you can see that both are getting a few shots off in the box. But again, 2 of Reece James 4 shots are outside the box. All 5 of Ben Chilwell's shots are inside the box. So I would say now, even though I chose Reece James, if I had a fresh choice now, I might start to lean towards Ben Chilwell. I think both are great options. And I think if you already have one, I already have Reece James. I am looking at bringing in Ben Chilwell alongside him because I think most weeks you'll get at least one of them starting. And in some weeks, I think you'll get both. And with the fixtures coming up, I think it could be great to have both Chelsea fullbacks. So that's my opinion on it. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them, right? You can see from their touch maps, you can see from the statistics, they are 2 of the best fullbacks in the league. You have to accept that if you choose one of them or both of them, you will see a bit of rotation, but I think the upside is definitely worth it. So the final player I wanted to discuss is Jamie Vardy, the man on the thumbnail, and I called him in one of my own videos on my own channel, the forgotten man, because no matter what he does, we seem to just ignore him and just think that he is not the player to pick. I think it's the tricky price. And again, if you watch my transfer target series on this very channel, you'll know that I recommended Jamie Vardy back in Game Week 5. It was probably one of my highlights from a content creation point of view because he's just gone on to absolutely smash it. And I think he will continue to smash it, and I think he will continue to be ignored largely by some of the more serious managers that think they can get better value out of the mid-price forwards. And I'm not necessarily saying that the cheaper forwards aren't great value, but at some point we do need to start taking into consideration just how great Jamie Vardy is. You can see his touch map on screen. It's absolutely outstanding. Obviously, ignore the kickoff touches. That always happens with strikers that take kickoffs. Almost all of his big touches, you see those sort of like greeny yellow colours, that means that's where most of his touches have all been in the box. He is a fox in the box playing for the Foxes, of course. He is just absolutely fantastic, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down with age. Rather than just looking at his touch map, though, as you know, you can look at different things on the Fantasy Football Fix website. If you have a look at his shot map, it's absolutely outstanding once again. All of his shots, apart from 2, potentially 3 there, are inside the box. His underlying statistics continue to be fantastic. His non-penalty expected goals and expected assists is 0.55 per 90. That includes 0.47 non-penalty expected goals. And we know he has penalties as well. So once the penalties potentially start coming in a little bit, we know referees are being a little bit harsher. He could just continue to do even better than he has already. Fixtures over the next 5 are Brentford, Arsenal, Leeds. Then they have Chelsea in Game Week 12. But then Watford and Southampton in 13 and 14. So to have Brentford, Arsenal, Leeds, Watford and Southampton, which aren't that tricky of a fixtures, Arsenal's probably the most difficult there because they do appear to be defending slightly better now. I just think he's going to continue to do well. The fixtures are fantastic. At some point, we say, do you know what? Maybe we go for it. And if you've got someone like Antonio in your team, potentially like a Werner, maybe you took a punt on, or a Jimenez, and you can find the £3 million to get up to Vardy, it may well be worth it. And I've seen a few people discussing potentially going for Vardy over Lukaku. And listen, the fixtures are better for Lukaku. Chelsea are the better team than Leicester, but in the current structure that they've got in the 3-5-2 and the 3-4-3 that they're playing, without Mason Mount and Reece James in the team, they've really been struggling, Chelsea. But as I just said, it has been without Mount and Reece James, and hopefully I think Tuchel will start to see that. And if he brings Reece James and Mount in, and they have that creativity once again, I think Lukaku will start to score goals. So I personally wouldn't feel comfortable taking Lukaku out before Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle. If you do feel comfortable doing that, then of course you can bring in Jamie Vardy, and the next 5 to 6 fixtures are fantastic. So definitely worth considering. I think he's a great option. And if you are really brave, you can bring him in for Lukaku. But for me, it would be alongside Lukaku or not at all. So guys, there you have it. Those are the predicted price rises and predicted price falls for this evening. Just a friendly reminder that price changes are not an exact science. They are a prediction. And also another friendly reminder that over the weekend, there is a lot of transfer activity happening. There are a lot of wildcards at the moment as well. And all of these things may make it slightly more difficult to predict these price changes. All of that being said, I hope you are enjoying the content on this channel. I hope you are enjoying these daily price prediction videos. If you are enjoying the content here on this channel, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate the support so much. And also, if you're enjoying any of the features we use in the touch maps, the heat maps, the different statistics we're discussing, actually predicting price changes for themselves, then you can do all of that for yourself by heading over to the Fantasy Football Fix website at fantasyfootballfix.com or by downloading our free app and enabling push notifications. But until next time, guys, thank you very much. Bye-bye.